Alright, people, so today was meant to be the purse bid for Fabio Wadley versus Fraser Clark for the British heavyweight title. Now, in one sense, it's a bit of a catch-22 because I'm glad in a sense that they're doing Adelaide because I think he's going to be next in line for a shot at the British title. So I'm kind of glad they're going to do that because I think that's a very good fight. In terms of the way it's been handled by boxer Ben Shalom and Fraser Clark to a certain extent anyway, Clark was given all the bravado, before purse bid and stuff like the deadline. He's kind of giving it the kind of big talk about, Fabio Wadley, this, that and the other. And obviously Fraser Clark comes with a much better amateur experience than Fabio Wadley, who didn't have any, just white collar. And, Ben Shalom was kind of, talking a good game and stuff like that. And rather than, if he didn't want to go in this direction, that's fine. But to leave it until deadline day almost, to just decide to swerve it and go in a different direction, Fabio Wadley summed it up as embarrassing. And that, to me, is kind of how it is. The whole run Ben Shalom has had since he took over from Sky, I believe the first show he did with Sky, now if you want to correct me on this, feel free to, but I believe it was late September 2021. Might have been early October, but it was late September 2021. I think I might have been over in London, not at the show, but I think I was over there that weekend when he was doing that show. I think it was round about then. Now, we heard about Ben Shalom prior to that from Frank Warren, but he'd never really been a name in boxing that any of us would know. Because, when you're, even hardcore fans, would know some of the smaller hall guys. You'd know the Steve Goodwins, Chris Andre's best buddy. Shout out to Chris Andre. But you'd know the Steve Goodwins. You'd know the, I think is it Richard Poxon, I think his name is. You'd know some of those guys, the Mick Hennessy's of the world. There's a few others around there as well. VIP Boxing, I think is what one of them is called. And what's his name, Dennis Hobson. You'd know the small hall guys who are, they're just getting by kind of that, but they put on some good shows to their credit. You'd know some of them. Ben Shalom's name, never even remotely heard of it until, like I said, Frank Warren in an IFL interview, I think it was, mentioned Ben Shalom taking over from Sky. And I think actually at the time it was rumoured that Shalom was taking over, and he pretty much kind of let the cat out of the bag. And I think we were all kind of like, who the hell is Ben Shalom? And for me, I kind of thought, okay, this guy's taking over from Sky. He's taken over from Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn, who had done crazy things with Sky over the last decade, near enough to a decade anyway. I don't know, it would have been about a decade. So he got some big shoes to fill. It's going to take some time. With Eddie Hearn, he didn't hit the ground running and boom, bam, big shows instantly. It was a slow burn. He was doing Prize Fighter. He was taking over from Frank Warren on Sky. He didn't have a massive stable. He had Carl Froch as the main guy, but Joshua hadn't even turned pro yet. He had guys like Tommy Coyle, Kell Brook, who Tommy Coyle never really hit the heights I think Eddie Hearn and many people expected him. But Kell Brook wasn't even a world champion at the time. He was struggling with Carson Jones. So Eddie Hearn was doing these shows. They were on the small scene. Carl Frampton he had at the time actually fought on Carl Froch's undercard when he fought Lucian Bute. I think he was the co-main that night. I think he might have even fought Kiko on the undercard. It was Kiko anyway, it might have been. But that was what Eddie Hearn had. So it wasn't like he was, hitting the ground running instantly, signing all these big names. It wasn't like that. He built it slowly but surely, and then he got Anthony Joshua obviously came along and he took it to another level. But Ben Shalom, he came in and it was just instantly right. Money, sign this guy, sign that guy. When Tokyo 2020 was over, Eddie Hearn in Rio pretty much wiped the floor with everyone for signing all the GB guys. When it came to Tokyo 2020, I think the majority actually went to Pro Bellum. Well, we all know what happened to Pro Bellum. It's not officially gone under, but after the whole situation with that other company, I think we all know who I'm talking about, went awry in March of last year, it was pretty much the writing on the wall for Pro Bellum. I mean, they had loads of signs, Sonny Edwards and people like that. And the others seemed to go to Ben Shalom. There was very little who went to Matchroom and very little who went to Queensbury, which was very different from the other way around. The majority of them went to Matchroom and some leftovers went to Queensbury last cycle. So he was signing guys. He was getting guys like Jack Cattrall. He got Joseph Parker, Hughie Fury, Michael Hunter. He signed as well, actually. Obviously, that was coinciding with the Hughie Fury fight. He was signing a couple of guys, and you were kind of starting to think, okay, this stable is starting to take shape. There could be something going on here. But the shows he was putting on, they never improved. They were always very forgettable, very bland. I heard rumours last summer, and they were just rumours, unconfirmed rumours, that there was a bit of a tug of war between the directions Sky and Adam Smith wanted to go, because Adam Smith was still head of boxing at the time. A bit of a tug of war on which route Sky wanted to go and which route Shalom wanted to go. Bit of a tug of war there. And I don't know who won, to be honest with you, because the route that the Sky shows are on now, in terms of everything from the punditry straight the way through to the fights, are just so bland and forgettable. You know, it's just awful. Really is. I mean, I actually said it a couple of weeks ago, might have been a few months ago, that when I was watching, I can't remember the show, they were so forgettable, but I was watching a show, might have been the Adam Azim, one of Adam Azim's fights, and I was like, it just felt strange, you know, from a broadcasting point of view. The whole show just felt very strange, very bizarre. Just everything just felt so bland and rehearsed. It was awful. So the quality of the shows haven't improved. The cards are just so forgettable. It's not even funny. And we've seen boxer Ben Shalom struggle to even hold on to guys they've signed. They've gone and they've opened the checkbook and signed people like Lawrence Okoli and Joshua Buatsi, who Eddie Hearn and Sky worked with for many years and couldn't get them to do anything. I mean, Eddie Hearn has taken L's left, right and centre on Lawrence Okoli's fights over the years. So you would think that doing your due diligence and seeing, Jesus, he's taking L's with that guy on the gates. Oh, I don't want to sign him. Now I'm going to open my checkbook and say, you're going to be the face of boxing. I mean, I'm sure even Lawrence Okoli thought, what's this guy on? I'll take his money, but what's this guy smoking? Ben Shalom has done literally nothing the whole time he's been on Sky. He's done nothing. He's put on 2 good fights, Kell Brook and Amir Khan, which was nearly a decade past sell-by date, and the first Liam Smith-Chris Eubank fight. But what happened on the undercard? I don't remember. Joseph Parker fought Jack Massey. It was forgettable. Very forgettable. And that was a pay-per-view, lest we forget. Right? The interviews, you know, he's going, and I think it was at the time, I think Richard Safer threatened to sue him or something like that. Threatened to, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think that was what he did last year. Then he was screening, I think it was IFL or Boxing Social, one or the other, saying, don't ask me these questions, don't ask me that questions. To say bland and lack of character from Ben Shalom. You know who Ben Shalom reminds me of? He reminds me, if you've ever watched Little Britain, Kenny Craig, the stage hypnotist, Matt Lucas used to play him. Do you remember that guy? He'd be like, look at my eyes, the eyes, don't look around, the eyes, don't look around, the eyes, look at my eyes, you're under. That's who Ben Shalom reminds me of, obviously not as chubby. But it's kind of that way, where it's like he's staring directly at you. It's bizarre. And, you know, this guy, where he got this gig from is beyond me. Where he got this gig is beyond me. And it's just not been working. It's not been working. I think Sky needed to take a right step back with boxing and go right back to the grassroots and build it up from there, work with a promoter who you can build with. Ben Shalom has just been given the reins, and it's just been one disaster after another. You have fighters who are signing with Boxer and Ben Shalom who aren't even making their debut with Boxer and Ben Shalom. Jack Cattrall, he was meant to fight on, I forget which card it was. It might have been the Lawrence Okoli card. He never fought on that card. Instead, he signed with Eddie Hearn. He never even made his debut with Boxer and Ben Shalom. That's not a good sign when you're signing these fighters and they're not even making their debut and they're already looking for a way out, because I think they're seeing the writing's on the wall. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. And they're jumping ship. And look, Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, I've got my reservations about both of those guys, certainly, especially Frank Warren. Horrible man. And Eddie Hearn the last few years has been a lot more dislikable, a lot more. But still, at least with them, they're trying their best to keep a little bit of quality. They're making the good signings. They're actually trying to go through. Look at the amount of purse bids Eddie Hearn has lost. Yeah, he's taken L's on them, but at least he's going through with them. With Ben Shalom, it's just like, I've got to build it up, and nah, we're not going to go down that road. What is he going to do with Fraser Clark? He's got Fraser Clark going in there against Harry Armstrong, 5-1-1, and he could be fighting for a British title. What is Fraser Clark going to do? He's not got time on his side. It's not like you could be patient with him and say, oh, well, look, it might be a bit too much too soon. He's the older guy. He's not got a lot of time on his side. It's now or never. You got to strike while the iron's hot. You say you want to fast track him. So what? Fighting Fabio Wadley is what? Oh, that's a step back. No, so fighting Harry Armstrong is a step in the right direction. Is it really? Yeah, yeah. I'm not that stupid. So what is going on over there? It's absolutely bizarre what's going on. Does he want to keep it all in house? Does he have such little faith in some of these fighters? He doesn't want to risk losing a purse bid and have them going in the away corner on a DAZN, on a BT show and losing. I mean, isn't Frank Warren 2-0 against Ben Shalom? Maybe he's been scared by that, because obviously Parker went over to BT Sport to fight Joe Joyce, lost. Chris Congo, didn't he fight is it Ekman? I always get his name wrong. BT Sport, Queensbury fighter. He took an L. Forget what show that was on. But again, there's another L. Is he worried about his fighters going over there and losing, or potentially them coming over here and beating his guys? Maybe he is. I don't know. But whatever it is, Ben Shalom needs to change this up, because it's a joke the way it's been over there. The boxing on Sky now. Look, I don't like Sky Sports. I binned my subscription with them a while ago. Like, I get the odd pay-per-view now and again if I feel it's worthy, if I'm doing a watch along. But I bid my subscription with them nearly 2 years ago now. And the way their boxing is now, I mean, the shows are forgettable. The matchmaking is abysmal. It's awful. I've never seen matchmaking as bad as this, in terms of you getting guys who have a decent background and they're going in there with Snail Boy, who doesn't know how to throw a punch. It's bizarre. And just the actual, as I said, the broadcasting is shocking. You know, he's fighting these bland characters, like some of the interviewers that they have on Sky. They're putting me to sleep listening to them. You know, say what you want to say about DAZN. And look, I know me and Ade are mates, right? I know that. But still, I speak my mind, and believe me, it's cost me, outside of YouTube, it's cost me a few times. But Ade has a bit of charisma. He asks the questions in a good way. He's good at what he does. You see some of the I seem to rotate the interviewers on Sky Sports a lot, and they're all garbage. They all have about as much charisma as, I don't know, someone who can't speak, someone who can only use their hand signal, and you're like, Jesus, I'm taking more interest in what's going on with your hands than I am with what he's saying. It's awful. Awful. And I don't know, is that Shalom or is that Sky? I suspect the latter. It's just not good enough. And I think right now we're kind of at the point where with boxing on Sky, it's just so forgettable, it's just so lackluster that something has to change. And you need to get these videos out where you just talk about it and just say, look, this ain't good enough. Say what you want to say. Queensbury and Frank Warren, they've been putting on some very good shows as of late. I've been to a few of them and I've had no complaints about them. No complaints. Eddie Hearn, DAZN. I mean, we've got a couple of shows on back in the UK and in Ireland, so you can't complain there's not enough boxing. I'm really looking forward to seeing Lee Wood versus Lara 2, because, you know, it was a very, very good fight the first time around. It was only a couple of months ago, bear that in mind, so it was a quick turnaround, and there's a lot of intrigue. You know, Lee Wood was boxing out of his skin, then he got cocky and he changed it around. This time, it's not really, it's a three-way issue. It's the fact that they're all on the same goddamn night, BT, Sky and Queensbury, and DAZN. They're all on the same night. You're going to have to pick one. I might not even do a watch-along just to get them all in, but at least we're getting the shows on. You can't complain about that quality. Again, with Queensbury, a lot of their shows have been getting better and better. You know, even some of the shows where Frank Warren's putting on, which are ostensibly just the kind of Friday fight night, just to kind of chill and watch, some of them have been very good. You know, like Nicky Ball when he fought that Mexican guy, and then obviously Marcus Morrison when he fought Bentley. That whole show, there was one good fight after another. They didn't appear to be good fights, but they all turned out to be, and they're memorable. You don't get that with any of these Sky shows. They're all just like, next. Oh, thank God it's over. You seriously feel like saying that. You're like, thank God it's over. And I don't like looking at boxing like that, but that's the way it's been with some of these shows. Just garbage. So yeah, a bit of a rant on Ben Shalom. And I guess, like, this is just one thing on top of many other things. You know, the purse bid for this fight not going ahead. And it's the way he handled it as well. But it's one thing after another with Boxer and Ben Shalom. I mean, even if you look for press passes with them, they're flipping rude to you in the emails. I think it's automated. I think Base had the issue as well. But even then, they're flipping rude to you, saying, you know, we have our regulars, and they're basically saying we have our regulars, and F you, we don't know you. I almost made the thing up, I didn't. But that's kind of how it seems when they even come back to you with media credentials and stuff like that. An absolute joke. Shocking. With Boxing and Ben Shalom. So, little rant on Sky, Boxer, Ben Shalom. Could be just Ben Shalom, but it could be just a wider area. It could be a wider thing with Sky. I don't think they're helping, but yeah. Fight potentially down the drain, but we might get a better one. We might actually get a better one in terms of David Adelaide versus Fabio Wadley. Let's wait and see. Hope you enjoyed the video, people. Let me know your thoughts on the way Ben Shalom has handled the situation, him as a person in general. And obviously I don't know him outside of the boxing field. He could be a very nice guy, I don't know. But he does not look like someone I would trust to tell me the right time in a room full of clocks. if he tells me it's 3 o'clock and the clocks are all over the place, I'll be still looking at my phone just to be on the safe side. Let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. For now, lads, I'll talk to you. Peace.